I just got back from Easter Island. Easter Island is about a 4.5 to 5 hour flight from Chile, and we're filming 2 videos out there, which will be coming out in the next 1 to 2 months. So I thought we'd do this video a little different because so many people are asking what equipment do I use, and every shoot that we do, I'm using different equipment. It depends on what we're shooting and the story that we're trying to tell with that. So with that being said, I'm going to specifically talk about this trip and why I use the equipment that I used. Right behind me I have all the equipment that we used for the shoot. Right there. So we filmed 2 videos while we were there. We filmed 1 video on the Red Dragon, and then we shot a 360 video. So we have a little bit more equipment than we normally have. Now for this trip I didn't bring the whole Team Supertramp because they were working on a bunch of other projects. So I was actually able to bring my dad and my girlfriend, now fiance, Megan, on this trip with me to help film and make these videos for all of you. So with that being said, this is the equipment that I used and why I use that equipment. So the first item to talk about is, see, I had to make that noise just to show that it's really heavy. So in here I have the Inspire 1. It's the drone that we use, and actually I carry it in this case just because the case is kind of crappy case, and a lot of times when you set it on the airplane it gets really dinged up, and a lot of times the zipper actually breaks. We've had that happen a couple times, so I actually stick it in a completely different suitcase. That's why you have it here. So when I travel I stick it in this suitcase, and then I actually stick my Glidecam and all the weights for my Glidecam, the Supertramp edition mind you, I stick that all in here and it travels just fine. Now one thing to mind is the drone batteries, camera batteries, you can't legally stick those batteries in your suitcase and have those go under the airplane. You have to bring those as a carry-on. So I never stick the drone batteries, camera batteries, and the luggage that I actually give to the stewardess to stick under the airplane. So just be mindful of that. Safety first. So the bags that I use when we travel and when we don't travel is I use f-stop bags. Right behind me I have a blue one and a black one. I'll have the models pop up right now, but I've been using these model bags for the last couple of years. I love them. I'll be doing a bag tutorial soon, but these are the things you should know. So these bags, the f-stop bags, they carry a lot of equipment. So I'll open this up. This is actually the back of the backpack. So I literally put this part on my back. I put this on my back, and I lift this up right here, and you can see some of the equipment that I actually have here. So we have the 1DC, 2 Inspire batteries, a bunch of red batteries, a bunch of lenses, and more lenses. And the 1DC was one of the main cameras we were using for all of our night time lapses. It is incredible in low light, so that was one of the big reasons why we brought that. So on the top of the bag I just showed you, you can actually stick an ICU in there. Now with this ICU, I'll open it up. For this trip, I stocked it full of batteries. So I got red batteries right here, more red batteries right here, and then the Inspire 1 batteries right here, because we couldn't stick these in our suitcase. We had to bring them as a carry-on. So my bag, I weighed it right before I got on the airplane. It was 57 pounds of camera equipment, and a lot of that had to do with the actual batteries. So for this trip I had Megan in charge of the 360 video, which this is everything we needed for the 360. We're using the Freedom 360 rig for this shoot, which we'll talk about in another tutorial as far as how to film 360. And then right here is the case we use for our GoPros, and I can stick, well, you can see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 GoPros is what we actually brought on this trip. To use the 360 rig that we're using, you have to have 6 GoPros to capture in full 360. And then I have chargers and more batteries down here. So we have everything on hand. So this was another big tool. So this right here is our GoPro case. We bring this on all of our shoots. And then in this bag, which is also another f-stop bag, if you can't tell I really love f-stop, but I can literally wear it like this, and now I'm super stylish. And then you can swing around like this, open it up, and then I can pull up the 360 rig and everything else that we're gonna need, which is all right here. So this is the tool that we used for all of our 360, and I put Megan once again in charge of all that. I had too many bags to worry about, so give everyone an assignment. They take ownership of that, and then you don't have to stress about that. So the other bag that I use is this bag right here. It's my favorite bag because it's blue and I love the color blue. It's another f-stop bag. So once again, I can zip this up, put it on my back, wear it all day, open it up, and this is where the red is. This doesn't look as nice because we just got back from the shoot and I was charging the batteries. So that's why it doesn't look as clean as normal, but you get the general idea. I have the red weapon right here. I have the monitor right here, so it's protected, and then I have all the batteries and all the lenses usually right here. You can see some of that right here. Have the 1DC batteries as well. We also had on the shoot the Canon 5DSR that we use for photographs as well, because that can take 50+ megapixel pictures, and that's actually what we're filming on right now, so that's why you don't see that, and we used a Rode mic. Now as far as workflow goes, this is my laptop bag that I personally use. It's a Cine bag, is the actual brand. So when I travel to the airport, I'll actually have my suitcase right here, not right here, and then I'll have my f-stop bag on my back, and then I'll have this wrapped around my neck. So that throws on about 70 pounds in total. So it's a workout, it's not ideal, nothing ideal about it, but this in here, I will have my laptop, I'll have about 4 to 5 hard drives, an iPad, and a bunch of stuff to download, card readers, and everything else. As far as camera lenses go, we brought all Canon L series lenses, and they're gonna pop up right here, the actual lenses that I brought on this trip. And I'm putting them in the order that I used them the most, with the one on the top being the one I used the most. So the last couple at the bottom, I actually hardly used it all. Now this trip was significantly different than most nature videos that we shoot. Because this is a World Heritage site, just because there's so much history attached to it, there's also so many rules attached to it. It was one of the hardest places I have ever filmed. I actually think it was the hardest place I've ever filmed, bar none. So yeah, it was just an awful experience trying to get the shots that I wanted to get, and 99.9% of the places we went, they had it fenced off. They were low fences, thank goodness, but they wouldn't let you cross those by any means. So a lot of the shots I had to get with the zoom lens, and I couldn't get those wide shots that I generally try to get. Now my plan was to get a ton of drone footage. We looked it up ahead of time to make sure drones were okay to fly there. We got there, we took up the drone. Within a couple minutes, a big scary truck pulled up, and people that didn't speak our language said that they would arrest us, and the reason I know they said they were gonna arrest us is because they went like this, and they were not very happy. This was just by taking the drone up and getting one shot. So this was on day one, and because of that, we weren't able to fly the drone at all, which was super devastating because we brought all this super heavy equipment, expensive equipment. It was a nightmare to get it there, a nightmare to get it through customs, and a nightmare to get it back, and we could only get one shot, and it might not even make the video. So that was my experience flying drones at Easter Island. It's next to impossible. After talking to a couple different people that spoke English, I found out that there's actually one local on the island that can fly drones whenever he wants, but we weren't able to find out who that person was. So it's all about who you know, and that was kind of what we learned with that. So this is the equipment that we used. Now also, because I'm coming from the US, we're using US power adapters. Every time you travel, I always bring 4 power converters, and then I'll usually bring a 3-way power connector as well, so I can tie or hook multiple power connections when we're traveling as well. Now the other tool that I brought was this little guy right here, which I'm going to talk about in tomorrow's tutorial video. It's called a Loom Cube, but this was amazing, and it's a light, but I'll tell you all about that tomorrow. Wrapping this all together, as you see right now, this is a lot of equipment. My dad, my fiance Megan, and me, all 3 of us, we brought all this equipment plus our luggage for 7 days to Easter Island. Every trip that we do though is completely different. depend on how many filmmakers we're gonna have out there, how far away it is. There's so many different variables, so that's why I thought I would talk specifically about Easter Island and the equipment that I brought and why we brought that on this trip specifically. So I'll be doing a basic what's in my bag for most of our shoots coming up soon, but I wanted to cover this Easter Island because it's fresh on my mind and I thought I could talk about it a little bit. So there you have it. Let me know if you have any questions about any of this equipment. I love it. I've been using it for the last couple of years. Actually longer than that. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you catch up on all of our other tutorial videos. I'd love to know what tutorial video you'd like to see next. Thanks so much for watching. Over and out.
Yeah, wham, bam, super tramp. And I tipping up my hat while I boost the fans. And I hover up top, can you feel the noise? All the girls scream now cause they want the boys. Yo, making all the clouds looking like a big joke. When I run so fast and I sing so low. And you never wanna mess with me, you're just dissing me. I just set me free, so just stop. We cool, we hot.